What's up, CG Nation? Thanks again for tuning into the Competitive Greatness Podcast. We hope you're having a great day. If you have not already, go to iTunes, subscribe to the podcast, leave us a rating or review. We appreciate any honest feedback that you have for us. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got tons of great content on there, training videos, drills, coaching tips, as well as videos from these podcast recordings. So all those episodes are on there. The videos are there as well. If you know of a friend, a family member, a teammate, a coworker, whoever, somebody that would benefit from these coaching messages, the inspirational things that we talk about, please feel free to share. We've grown pretty organically so far, and we'd like to continue to do that. We think that these messages are really important to building the toughness, mindset, mentality, and competitive edge that I think we all need across our athletes, in businesses, and just in the community. So if you know of anybody who you think would enjoy the content, if you've enjoyed the content so far, please share it with a friend or two. We would really appreciate it, and we really appreciate all the support you've showed us so far. So I was watching a video on Instagram. I think it was Instagram, but one of the social media platforms. I was watching a video of an athlete training, and behind the basket up on the wall there was a quote, and that's commonplace at a lot of different facilities. And I'm not knocking this facility at all. I just thought it was something that I should probably address, and this will be in a podcast later, I'm sure, so I'll try to keep it short. But behind the goal it said, "Failure is not an option." And I get it. I get why people would say that. And I think in the grand scheme of things, long term, that's a good way to look at your life, at your goals is, if I'm trying to achieve something, 5-10 years down the road, even a year from now, long-term goals, failure shouldn't be an option, or failure should be something that you always want to overcome. And that's the point I'm going to make here. Failure is an option, and failure is actually a very healthy option. I think in order to really achieve, meaningful goals in life, you have to fail. And I think that's the best way to learn, is to fail. I've learned the most from the times that I've failed, or the times that I have not done things right. As I've run a business over the last 3 years, I've learned more from doing things wrong than I have from doing things right. And so I think that's true in almost any facet of life, and any facet of athletics. I think you're going to learn more from your failures. It's part of why we treat our workouts the way that we do, in the sense that I encourage our athletes to mess things up. I encourage our athletes to get outside their comfort zone, and if they're not messing things up, if they're not going at a level, at a work rate outside of what they're capable of to screw some things up, then in my opinion, they're not going to get as much development as they probably should. So my point here is that while it's a good quote, and I think it's a good premise behind it, I think short-term failure should be an option. I'm not saying you got to go seek failure out, but I think if you're really trying to achieve some things, if you're really trying to work hard, you're gonna fail. And after you fail, don't get down on yourself, don't get pissed, don't get frustrated. Figure out how to do it different the next time, and that overcoming failure is going to make you so much better at whatever it is that you do. Your development is going to go through the roof. And again, any facet of life, if you can focus on overcoming failure. Don't avoid failure. Don't run away from failure. Don't necessarily seek it out, but on the path to success, on the path to achieving your goals, understand that failure is probably going to happen. Figure out how to overcome it, and that's where you're going to get a lot better. Thanks again for tuning into today's episode. We really appreciate your support. If you enjoy the podcast, you enjoy some of the messages that we spread and what we've been talking about, please consider going to iTunes, subscribing to the podcast, and then leave us a rating or a review. We appreciate any honest feedback you have for us and look forward to hearing what you have to say. If today's episode was valuable, or if you saw some value in today's message, please also consider sharing that with 1 to 2 other people who you think would see some value in it as well. That's hopefully how we can continue to spread the word, continue to build this great community that we already have, and again, organically just increase our reach and spread these messages that we kind of see as important.